Welcome. Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10-4-10, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising such notice in the Home News Tribune, Asbury Park Press, Board Office Schools, Cablevision, Channel 118, Verizon Fios, Channel 24, and by filing such notice with the Township Clerk. This regular meeting was scheduled for Tuesday, October 18th. The Board will take formal action on payment of bills and other agenda items. Mr. Mara, roll call, please. First a statement, sir.
The Old Bridge Township Board of Education acknowledges that the law of this state establishes that members of the public, including members of the board, have the right to record public board meetings using audio or video recording devices, provided that that act of recording does not interfere with the business of this public board meeting. Therefore, the board makes it known that any such recording is to be considered the private recording of the individual and in no manner represents the official record of this board. The board therefore takes no responsibility for such private recording and completely disavows any future use.
Okay, Mr. Mara, thank you. Now roll call, please.
Dunn.
Here.
Dinoff.
Present.
Hopman.
Here.
DePrima.
Here.
Ellis Foster.
Here.
Callie.
Here.
Singh. Weber.
Here.
Andriani.
Here.
Quorum exists.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance, please rise, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, everyone that came out this evening. We start with our Code of Ethics. We had a volunteer to read.
Jill.
That was Jill. Thank you, Ms. Callie.
Uphold and enforce all laws, rules, and regulations of the State Board of Education and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes shall be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures.
Thank you. We do have a few additions to the agenda. Mr. Mara? Addendum. You're not going to say what they are first? I need a motion to add the addendum? Okay, I need a motion to add the addendum.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. Thank you, Ms. Hartman. Any discussion about adding a motion to add addendums? Mr. Mara, roll call.
Dunn.
Yes.
Dinoff.
Yes.
Hopman.
Yes.
DePrima.
Yes.
Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Callie.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes,
The addendum is approved.
thank you. You knocked me off my game here. Alrighty, moving to approval of minutes. I don't see a motion on the agenda for that. Okay, so we need a motion to approve the minutes.
Dinoff will move.
Thank you, Mr. Dinoff. I need a second. Thank you, Ms. Hartman. Any discussion on the minutes?
Separate September 13th agenda session and closed session minutes for September 13th and September 20th.
Okay. So we're going to have, can they be together, or you want three separate? They can be together, okay. Mr. Mara, what do you want to do first, the 20th or the 13th and the 20th?
We'll do the 20th first.
Okay,
Dunn.
Yes.
Dinoff.
Yes.
Hopman.
Yes.
DePrima.
Yes.
Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Callie.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Andriani.
yes.
Minutes from September 20th pass.
Next?
Now we're combining the 13th and the agenda session 13th and the agenda session and the closed session minutes the 13th and the 20th.
Correct.
Dunn.
Yes.
Dinoff.
Yes.
Hopman.
Yes.
DePrima.
Yes.
Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Callie.
Yes.
Weber.
Abstain.
Andriani.
Yes.
the minutes from September 13th and the agenda session and the minutes from the September 13th and 20th closed session pass.
Thank you, Mr. Mara. Our Student Senate President is here. Your time for your report. Thank you.
Sorry. So Pink Out happened last Friday, and it was a really big win against Piscataway, and we raised about $5,000 just with the school, and then Pier raised about $5,500 for the Making Strides Cancer Walk, and the school sold shirts and beads. There was a DJ, there was photos taken, the Cosmo program did hair and as well as makeup. We sold wristbands and bandanas. Ulbridge tattoos were sold by the cheerleaders. Everyone wore pink to the game, and then we did a big pink powder toss right before the game started as the football players ran onto the field. The senior dinner cruise happened the weekend before that, and which was around Manhattan, and 400 students as well as the advisors came. Homecoming will be on November 3rd, and the tickets are $25, and the theme is A Night in Vegas. Football is the #1 seed in the GMC conference, and soccer has also advanced in the GMCs. Field hockey actually is in the GMC finals this Thursday at 7 o'clock in East Brunswick against South Plainfield. There will be a school spirit week coming up the week of homecoming, so we have not yet decided what exactly the themes each day will be, but we are going to have a meeting soon about that. There is a college fair this Thursday in the cafeteria after school at I think around like 7 o'clock. The FBLA induction will be on the 20th, and History Honor Society induction will be during school on the 20th, and that's it.
Seems like you've been very busy. Okay, all right, thank you. We're now at the recognition part. I see Ms. Simon back there and her group. Mr. Cedino, do you want to introduce this group?
Sure. It's been an incredible adventure for the staff and the students at Carl Sandburg Middle School. As they've become a national school of character, their efforts did not stop there. They've continued their partnership with Habitat for Humanity and have really done some great work for those who are in need of a steady shelter to live in. So, please move the Board of Education to recognize the following Carl Sandburg Middle School students and staff, volunteers who participated in the wall building project on Saturday, September 24th, 2016 at Carl Sandburg Middle School's Habitat for the Humanity project. The constructed walls will be shipped to Habitat for Humanity building site in Newark and will be part of a home for a family. Dr. Simon? Dr. Londrigan, please.
Good evening. Dr. Londrigan and I are here tonight to recognize our students and our staff members who participated in our Habitat for Humanity wall build. For those of you that are familiar with Habitat for Humanity, they are currently working on homes in Newark. Last April, we had a group of staff members that went up and actually worked on site. And because students have to be 16 years or older to participate on a construction site, they actually brought the construction site to us. So the students you see here spent a full day on Saturday in September, and they learned how to frame out windows and frame out doors. And the walls that they built were shipped back up to Newark and will become part of a project. We have a partnership with GI Go Fund, and the GI Go Fund supports veterans, returning veterans, and they also sponsor one of the units that's going up in Newark for disabled veterans. So all of our service learning that we've been working on over the last couple of years is all kind of coming together. So I'd like to recognize, not everybody was able to make it this evening, but as I call your name, come up and we'll give you your certificates, and then we'll have you come up front so your grown-ups can all take a picture. But this is a true testament to the hard work and dedication that the Carl Sandburg students have to service learning and serving their community. And before I forget, I do also want to recognize the Old Bridge High School gymnastics team who came that day as well, under the leadership of Ms. Corsentino and Mr. Canzano, their coaches, and they actually helped with refreshments and passing out water and making sure everybody had tools in their hands and helmets on their heads. So without further ado, Ron Amistad, Gina Battaglia.
Come this way.
You're going to come
Dr.
right on
Simon,
up to the stage. Go
send
right
them
on
this
up
way.
to the
Thank you.
stage. Devin Bendel. Nicholas Cavalas. Timothy Davis. Ronald Figlialia. I don't think he's here tonight. Teresa Freeman. Shri Ingawa. I don't think he's coming. Rishab Jain. Will Kennedy. KJ Londrigan. Gabriella Master. Keith Olson. Yash Purav. Ryan Sears. Eric Sprintz. Jaya Singh. Sabrina Stark. I don't think she was coming this evening. Liam Starr. Michaela Stepper. Anthony Toronto. Ava Thubat. I know I said your name wrong. I apologize. Michael Wilcom. And Akayla Ray, who was not able to come this evening. I do want to recognize the staff members who were, yes, grown-ups, please feel free to take lots of pictures of your children. But I also want to recognize Kenneth Londrigan, our vice principal, who was also there with a hard hat and hammer, and Mr. Christopher Lenegro, who's here this evening as well. And just very quickly, our staff members that participated: Jeremy Bahoon, Harry Brennan, Kristen Celentano, Michelle Conticchio, Corinne Curry, Kathy Collop, Rochelle Miller, Patty Rayner, Steve Rutilio, Tom Town, and Angela Ziemba, who were all there supporting our students. So congratulations, boys and girls, on their hard work.
Dr. Simon, yeah. Wait, I can't see who's there. How about Dr. Londrigan and anybody else that was on your staff? Now all the parents can get a nice picture instead of sideways. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Simon. Now I need a motion to recognize these wonderful young people and the staff from Carl Sandburg Middle School.
Callie, make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Callie. I need a second? All right, Ms. Hopman, thank you. Any discussion? All right, Mr. Mara.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes, and thank you very much for everything that you have done, all of you. We certainly appreciate it. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing to do.
DePrima,
Yes, of course.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Callie,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolution 1 passes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, as usual, we know that everyone has homework, so this would be a nice time to make a graceful exit. You're more than welcome to stay, but it's business as usual. So we'll give you a few minutes to get home and crap open those books. Okay, there's cookies over there if you want to hit those on the way out. Now we have room down in front, if anybody wants to move down. Dr. Cascone is feels very alone, isolated up in front by himself. Okay, we're going to continue at this time, and it's our superintendent's report time, along with progress towards goal. So, Mr. Cittadino, the floor is yours.
Well, it was a very busy weekend in Old Bridge. It was a wonderful pink out at Old Bridge High School where our team, not only and our students and our staff, made nice proceeds raised for those in need and those in fighting the battle inflicted with cancer, but also defeated one of the top-ranking football teams in the state in a very late quarterback duel. So that was very much a great boost of energy going into the weekend. There was a wonderful fishing derby to keep kids off drugs that took place on Saturday as well, and as well also we had World Fest. So I wanted just to take the time to thank everyone who participated in our first World Fest celebration of the cultures and diversity in here in Old Bridge. Thank you to all the staff, volunteers, and students and parents that made it possible. I also want to thank our township leadership and our Board of Education having faith to believe that this could be a great source of revenue, but also, even more importantly, a great source of community relationships where we can have parents from different schools, their children come together, get to know each other and in a safe environment and have a great time. Through it all, we were able to make in excess of $20,000 in gross revenue for the students of Old Bridge School District. In breaking it down a little bit, I know that SEPTA was able to receive $1,700 in revenue for programs they're going to put towards their students. The PTAs will share $7,000. Student scholarship here at the high school received a nice scholarship for students going on and studying the cultural arts of $550. And there was $11,500 in additional revenue for the district to put towards student programming. So again, that wouldn't be possible without the volunteering and the belief by this community and supporting the programs. And on the district side, I'd like to thank Kim from the PTAs for putting that team together, and on the township side, Rose for putting together everything on the township side with the Old Bridge Cultural Arts Association. On the progress towards goals, we had an eventful week also with strategic planning. As you know, we started looking into strategic planning. We vetted a few vendors that do strategic planning to really get a community output and community input as to what we want in strategic plan for 2021 and beyond. And we had, through that vetting process, we settled with Dr. Ivory through ERC. And the night that the township met with him and the Board of Education met with him, he was released from his working conditions, working, I guess, arrangement at ERC, and we were informed that he can no longer do strategic planning for the district. obviously something that became very frustrating to us, to the point where we met other possible strategic planners from the EIRC in an interview process, myself and our board president and my assistant superintendent. Because of the size of Old Bridge, we didn't think that they had enough experience and leadership for what we're looking to do. Donna, our board president, and I drove an hour and a half to Blackwood, New Jersey, down exit 2, kind of have a surprise visit at the ERC board meeting, and to discuss our concerns with how their decision is impacting our goals. And we waited for a response. They responded by giving us another strategic planner that they feel will assist us in this process, has over 60 districts that this woman has assisted with. And her name is Joan Parati. I just had a conversation with her today. We're putting together dates so I can interview and vet her to see if she's the right match for Old Bridge. And we also reached out to Ed Services of New Jersey, Mr. Mark Finkelstein, to see if he has some strategic planners that could assist us as well. So as soon as we know more, we're going to get the community, the parents, the staff involved in this process, and we want to get it done this year. That is our goal. We need to look at our infrastructure, we need to look at our buildings, we need to look at the outside building and constructions going on in town, and have a plan in place so that we can provide our students with a safe and educational platform and buildings that will be conducive to their learning. So that's where we are with that. And just another item that is really more related to the goals of last year, in which we were looking to expand student voice opportunities to the leadership of the district. We're starting something new to continue that, because student voice is something that we want to continue with. And I'm going to ask that Dr. Hooker please explain our new program.
All right. We've invited 2 students from each of our elementary schools to join Mr. Cittadino and I at the administration building for lunch. This is scheduled to take place on Thursday, and Giuseppe's of Old Bridge is sponsoring this event. So the students will each be transported from their elementary schools. They'll come up to central administration, they'll have lunch with us, and we'll use this opportunity to make connections with our students and to hear their perspective and their voice on things that are going on in their individual school buildings and throughout the district. We'll give them a little tour of the central administration building and give them an idea. I feel like sometimes we stop in the buildings, we say hello, and they can't put into perspective where we come from. And even some of them knowing us, and we were former principals in the district, it will give them a little insight, and they can go back and tell their friends, and it's an opportunity to communicate in a different setting with our students. So it's exciting for us to bring the students into our building and join them at a casual conversation. So we're looking forward to that, and that takes place this Thursday.
I think it also benefits our staff that works in our building as well. Some of the great support staff we have in our building have never actually worked in a school. And like I always say, if it wasn't for children, we don't really have employment. So it's good to have the children walking through, so we can keep that as the mark, that this is what we work for the children of Old Bridge. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cittadino. Would anybody like to discuss facilities report? Okay. All right, at this point, we're at the, special committee reports. Well, there is no correspondence, correct, Mr. Mara? No correspondence, we decided that. Special committees reports. We do have a few. Start on your side, Mr. Dunn.
Thank you, Madam President. On Wednesday, September 21st, we had our first Buildings and Grounds and Transportations Committee meeting, and we had a whole litany of items to discuss, and it was a very productive meeting. We had many people from the public turn out, which is very refreshing, and we had a very positive discussion. The first thing I want to discuss was bus stops. That's always a topic of concern for parents when we first start school. Obviously, September was our first month in session, so a lot of bus stop concerns came to the committee's attention, and the committee listened to a few residents concerning their concerns with bus stops. And one particular bus stop, which we are working on a plan to see if we could accommodate a situation is located on Wesley Road. Wesley Road is a dead-end street off of Ticetown Road, and there is some concern because we do have roughly 20 students who need to walk down Wesley Road to Ticetown to get to their bus stop. So we had a few concerned parents come to the meeting, and we are working with them to see if there's an alternative to alleviate that safety concern of kids walking on roads where there are no sidewalks. Wesley Road is a rural road, and we're trying to work on some sort of solution for that street and that bus stop. So we're working on that. Also, we had the Director of Transportation fill us in on her fleet status. We were very fortunate that we were able to get 4 to 5 new buses for her fleet, and we are expecting some more. We get great use out of our vehicles, and we have a very good rate of return based upon the usage of our vehicles, and those vehicles have been implemented in the fleet, and hopefully those vehicles will pay dividends. Also, a big issue at the meeting was our ESEP plan. The ESEP plan is moving forward. I know that there was a lot of conversation about what's going to be in that ESEP plan, and just to remind everyone, the ESEP plan is the Energy Savings Improvement Plan, which we are putting together. And basically what that is, let me just remind everyone, it's a program where we are going to reinvest into our infrastructure, energy savings-wise, based upon the savings that we incur from these improvements. So we have a program in place. We are still vetting the process. We are leaning towards the program where we're going to be doing solar panels on our roof, which is going to help us realize more savings. But we are still working with Honeywell, which is our ESCO company, which is an energy services company. So we are finalizing that, and I'm hoping to have the information from Mr. Mara in the very near future so we can finish implementing this process. We're looking at roughly $14 million in improvements to our facilities. That's going to encompass new roofs, solar panels, new LED lighting, new boilers, windows, things of that nature, which is going to help reduce our energy costs. And based upon those reduction in costs, the savings is going to pay for these improvements. So it's a win-win situation for the board. And we've been working very diligently to get this finalized, and we're hoping to have this on board in the next 2 months completely. I know that we're waiting for some RFPs to come back for our solar program because we have to enter a PPA, which is a power purchase agreement, so that we can finalize our program. Also, we had a lot of discussions concerning playgrounds at the Buildings and Grounds and Transportation meeting. We had a few of our illustrious principals come out and discuss their concerns with their playgrounds at their particular buildings. I want to thank Principal Foley and Principal McHugh for coming out and taking time out of their busy day to come out and talk with the committee and try to encourage the board to look into improvements to the playgrounds. Overall, the meeting was very, very successful. I was very encouraged that many members of the public came out and were proactive. That's what we encourage. At the committee meetings, we want the public to come out, interject their opinions and interject what they desire, and we will work with them. It's a very simple process that the Board of Education is put in its place or put on the board based upon being elected. So we want to make sure that we hear from the community, and we will work with the community for the betterment of this school district. Overall, I'm looking to try to have another meeting in the very near future. There's a lot going on. As everyone knows, building here in Old Bridge is going to be escalating soon with apartments and new homes in Woodhaven, and also by Schumulster on Route 9 on Perrine Road. And Buildings and Grounds is going to be very busy over the next few years trying to put into the strategic plan on how we deal with our aging infrastructure. But that's something which we'll talk in the future. But otherwise, that's where we stand. I'm hoping to have another meeting later in October, if not early November. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Staying on this side of the table, Mr. Dunn, no, not technology. Annette, Ms. Hotman, curriculum? No, not tonight? Okay, all right, this way. Ms. Callie.
Okay, the board decided when I came on the board, that my participation in Municipal Alliance would continue, placing a board member on the Alliance and putting that under Public Relations. I attended, actually, there will be an Alliance meeting tomorrow night, and every time I attend a meeting, I tell people, if you're interested, Municipal Alliance, MAPSA, is the Municipal Alliance for the Prevention of Substance Abuse, which is becoming more and more important if you've read the headlines. So I encourage anybody who wants to join the committee to let me know. Last night, the Municipal Alliance, in conjunction with the Police Department, the Old Bridge Township Public Schools, and the Governor's Office, put together a program called Facing an Unpleasant Reality Together. And there were a few speakers there, there were a few police officers there. There was actually a dentist who came out, which is very important because we're trying to get the medical community to understand that prescribing painkillers or over-prescribing painkillers is what is leading a lot of our young people to heroin use. Mr. DePrima was there for part of the meeting as well. It's a great program. If you ever see this flyer around, they do 2 or 3 a year, and I really encourage everybody to come out. Again, there's a Municipal Alliance meeting tomorrow night, so I guess at the next board meeting, I'll give a little report on that.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Cowie.
Madam President, could I just add something to that?
Be my guest, Mr. DePrima.
As Mrs. Cowie said, I attended last night, and I applaud Mrs. Cowie and everybody else on the Alliance for what they do to get all these speakers together. There was like maybe 24 people in the audience, and unfortunately, probably 20 of them were either school people or township people. It's really a shame, because they put a lot into these programs, which are very educational, I should say. Just when you see that flyer next time, pass the word around, and maybe we could get a full house in the Civic Center. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. DePrima. We did have a personnel meeting this week, and we have a few vacant positions. We continue to have difficulty in securing nurses for either substitution, long and short-term substitutes, or even per diem at that matter. For those of you who may not know, with all of the new medical rules and mandates that have come down from the Health Department, from the State Department, we need nurses to go on field trips. We need nurses to go on many of the scheduled events and be at things at nighttime. So we're always looking for nurses. If you happen to know of any that would like to be compensated as a per diem, or reach out to our Human Resource Department, which is through Dr. Hoker, the Assistant Superintendent's Office. We're always in need of nurses. Chemistry is another area where we seem to have trouble securing and keeping instructors. There are a lot of people just not going into chemistry. When they get into the sciences and the math and sciences, they wind up in engineering or wind up going someplace else, and they do not come into teaching. Most of the chemistry teachers we have been getting that have been good candidates and that have stayed are ones that are doing second careers. They're moving out of the business area and coming into education as a second career, which is great. They bring a wealth of knowledge and networking and mentoring for our students. But that's also another area, as well as physics. But we have a chemistry opening. I believe we filled the drama position, so then we're okay now. But we're always looking. Please keep looking online, because with the large district that we have, the large number of instructional staff that we have always people that are going out on medical leave or maternity leave, and we're always looking for viable candidates. Great if they live close and they're homegrown, they know our children, and so good for us. The current elementary enrollment for kindergarten is at 541. So for those of you who keep asking about kindergarten, I believe we graduated our senior class at just about 550, 521 last year, or very close to that. So we seem to be getting in to kindergarten full-time, almost the same number of students that we are exiting through graduation. And that's it for personnel. All righty. Anyone else before we move on? No. Now we're at hearing of residents for agenda items only. Is there anyone who would like to discuss anything that's on here? Mr. O'Neill?
Hello, I'm Tim O'Neill, President of the OBEA. I'd like to address finance item number 6, which is the district maintenance plan. Last month, Mr. Cittadino, when discussing his strategic plan, recognized that many of the buildings in our district are quite old and weren't necessarily built to the highest standard. Some recent events have really highlighted this issue and brought to light concerns about the air quality in some of our school buildings. On September 1st, a group of EMGNC teachers returned to school to discover visible black mold in their classrooms on pretty much every surface. They reported the problem and the rooms were cleaned. On September 2nd, I learned about the situation, and the building principal and I inspected all of the rooms where there were concerns, and we found that mold remained in some of those rooms, still visible, very evident. So the principal requested a more thorough cleaning, a mold inspection, and an air quality test. The rooms were cleaned again, but he followed the proper chain of command, and his requests for mold inspection and an air quality test were rejected. Out of concern for the staff and students in those rooms, I continue to press the issue and relay additional concerns about other buildings. I was told that all reported issues in the district had been resolved satisfactorily. I didn't get anywhere as I worked my way up the chain of command until I reached the superintendent at the top. At that point, an outside company was brought in to look at the classrooms that were in question. The outside company discovered mold in 2 of those rooms, and as part of the remediation, they removed and replaced drywall and ceiling tiles. They vacuumed all surfaces and filtered all the air in the rooms using HEPA systems to clean the air. And they cleaned all of the surfaces with a special mold-killing solution. This is a great start, but I still have a lot of concerns. First of all, there was clearly a problem in these rooms, or the renovations and microbial remediation of the rooms would not have been necessary. Unfortunately, there were 41 days, including 20 school days, between the problem initially being reported and it being resolved on October 13th. So there are a few key facts from this situation. One is that hundreds of students in the Old Bridge School District spent the first month of school in classrooms with mold or air quality issues that we know of. The second is that the only reason any action was apparently taken was because the OBA insisted on pressing the issue at every level of administration to ensure the health and safety of our staff and students. 3, there are still many other rooms and buildings throughout the district with reported and many unreported issues that have not yet been resolved. And 4, although we have a very capable maintenance staff that can do almost anything that is asked of them, we don't have any district employees that are qualified to assess whether a room or building has a mold or air quality problem. So unless an outside company is brought in to address issues, we don't know if they've really been resolved. So I would like to say that I think the district should have a set policy that dictates how complaints and concerns are addressed to ensure that all issues are being dealt with in a timely and thorough fashion, and that all reports get the attention they deserve. If such a policy does exist, then it does not appear that it's currently being enforced. I believe that regular air quality tests should also be a part of the district's maintenance plan. The health and safety of the students and staff of Old Bridge should be the board's top priority. So I'd like to ask the board what steps they and administration can take to rectify the current concerns throughout the district and ensure that future concerns are handled more efficiently. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
I met with Mr. O'Neill today when the issue was brought to my attention. I directed the proper company to come in to address the concern, and it was addressed in a quick manner as soon as they can get here. They started working on the problem to assess it, to take measures to fix it when the students were not here. We met again today, and I assured him that any other concerns that have been brought to our attention, our engineers and our maintenance staff has gone there to rectify, assess, and look at those rooms, and additional steps are being taken this week to look at any other concerns we've had. Now, I've spoken to Mr. O'Neill, and he's acknowledged that. He sent an email out to his staff asking everyone to report concerns they have, and when I've gone to those people, and our maintenance staff has gone to those people, they've said, we have no concerns. Mr. O'Neill told us to report the concerns. So, we are addressing them as they come up, when they come up, and we take every person, student, or staff member's health very seriously. Like I said today in our conversation, I'll be there in the schools this week, at the rooms you have concerns about, with Mr. Frisita. Thank you.
Mr. Cittadino, Mr. Mara, weren't we informed that there was remediation taken care of? Was that 3 weeks ago?
The process started with the assessment and remediation work in approximately 2.5 weeks, and it's completed, and the final report states that, in fact, the wording that he gave to me was it's cleaner than a medical lab at this time.
Okay. For anybody who wants to see those, are those reports in a public place where somebody can get to them? They're available upon request? Okay, all right, good. All right. Is there anyone else from the public? No? Okay. Moving on, policy. Is there anyone that has any discussion on any of the policy items? Now that we need a motion
I'll move it.
for number 1. Resolution 1. There's only one. Okay. I have a first and a second? Yes?
I'll second it.
Okay. And there's no discussion at this time? Mr. Mara, roll call?
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Callie?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes.
Resolution 1 passes.
All right, thank you. Moving into curriculum and professional development, we had an addendum, so it's 1 through 10, including the addendum. I need a motion for that.
Dinoff will move curriculum and professional development, items number 1 through 10, including the addendum.
Thank you, Mr. Dinoff. Could I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Hartman. Is there any discussion on any of the items? All right, Mr. Mara, roll call.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima?
Yes.
Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Callie?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Andriani?
Yes,
Resolutions 1 through 10 passed.
thank you. All right, athletics, 1 and 2, along 1 and 2, but 1 and 2. I need a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. I need a second.
I'll second.
That was Ms. Ellis Foster. Any discussion on any of these items? Mr. Mara, roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Callie?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes,
Except you,
except for item 2.
E.
I would like to separate E for
You
voting.
could just abstain.
I would like to abstain on that.
Okay. Andriani?
Yes.
Resolutions 1 and 2 pass.
All right, thank you. Finance, which is 1 through 15.
Dunn will move
Thank you.
finance items 1 through 15.
Dinoff will second.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn and Mr. Dinoff. Is there any discussion?
Yes, can we separate number 9 for voting purposes?
Mara, did you hear that? Number 9? Going to separate 9 for voting. Any discussion? All right, roll call.
Ellis Foster? This is on 1 through 8 and 10 through 15, I'm sorry. Ellis Foster?
Yes.
Callie?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Dinoff?
Yes.
Hopman?
Yes.
DePrima? Andriani?
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 8 and 10 through 15 pass. On resolution number 9, Ellis Foster?
Abstain.
Callie,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
DePrima,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolution 9 passes.
All righty, thank you. Non-certificated personnel office, 1 and 2, I need a motion.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis Foster.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Callie. Any discussion? Mr. Mara, roll call?
Callie,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
DePrima,
Yes.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 and 2.
Non-certificated personnel, operational, 1 resolution, 1 item.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Mr. Weber.
Dinoff will second.
Thank you, Mr. Dinoff. Any discussion on that item? Mr. Mara?
Weber,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
DePrima,
Yes.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Callie,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolution 1 passes.
Thank you. Non-certificated personnel, other, which is 1 through 10.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Callie. Do I have a second?
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. DePrima. Is there any discussion on any of those items? Then, Mr. Mara, roll call?
Weber,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
DePrima, Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Callie,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 10 pass.
Thank you. This next certificated personnel has the addendum, so we're up to number 23, so it's 1 through 23.
Dunn will move certificated personnel items 1 through 23.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn.
Callie will second.
Thank you, Ms. Callie. Is there-
Separate item 7 for voting, please.
7? Okay. Any discussion? No? Okay. So this will be 1 through 23, with the exception of 7.
Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
DePrima,
Yes.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Callie,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 6 and 8 through 23 pass. On Resolution 7, Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
DePrima,
Yes.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Callie,
Yes.
Weber,
Abstain.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolution 7 passes.
Okay. Mr. Domino, congratulations. But I have to put you on the spot. I do have a question for you. Are you ready to run the next home football game? Because that's a big operation. Absolutely. Okay. All righty. Congratulations. All right, non-certificated personnel transportation, 1, 2, and 3.
I'll
Du-
move it.
Dinoff will second.
We usually do talk about retirement. Most of the time, it's instructional personnel, but I see here that we have someone with 32 years' worth of experience that's been our head mechanic in transportation. So mechanics are almost as hard to come by as chemistry and calculus teachers. So I wish this gentleman all the best, and I'm sorry that he's going. But good luck in your second career, whatever that may be. Or if it's just rest and relaxation, or moving to areas where there are hurricanes. All right. What? I don't know. I believe so.
Yes. Good. Ms. Ellis Foster, seconded by Mr. Dino.
Okay, Mr. Mara, roll call.
Dinoff,
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
DePrima.
Yes.
Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Callie.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Dunn.
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 3 pass.
All right, supplies, equipment, and services, just one item. I need a motion.
Dinoff will move supplies, equipment, and services, item number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Dinoff. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. Any discussion on this item? Mr. Mara, roll call.
Hopman.
Yes.
DePrima.
Yes.
Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Callie.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Dunn.
Yes.
Dinoff.
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolution 1 passes.
Thank you. Transportation 1 through 6? 8? 1 through 8.
Dunn will move transportation items 1 through 8.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Thank you, Ms. Hartman. There any discussion on any of these items? Mr. Mara, roll call.
DePrima.
Yes.
Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Callie.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Dunn.
Yes.
Dinoff.
Yes.
Hopman.
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 8 pass.
Thank you. Miscellaneous 1 through 9?
I'll move.
Thank
Dunn
you,
will
Mr.
second miscellaneous.
Mr. DePremer, I'm sorry, was that you, Mr. Dunn?
Yes, I
Mr.
second
Dunn.
it.
Any discussion on any of those items? No? Okay. I'm assuming the number 9, the backwards, is the item in
Yes.
question with the shared service with the township? Okay. All righty, roll call, Mr. Mara.
Dunn.
Yes.
Dinoff.
Yes.
Hopman.
Yes.
DePrima.
Yes.
Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Callie.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes,
Resolutions 1 through 9 pass.
thank you. All right, hearing of residents. Mr. Mara, you don't have any board business at this time, do you? No. All right, residents for any school district issue? Okay, I see somebody coming to the podium. What's that listening? All right, Mr. Castley, how are you this evening?
It's in reference to the football games, the lines getting in. I know Mr. Domino is going to be there for the first game next November 4th. But the lines getting in the stadium take till past halftime to get the lines done. Whether we could do something to expedite it, an exact change line, reallocate the assets that we have working there, something needs to be done. I don't know who wants to address it.
Mrs.
I agree with
Andriani,
you.
ma-
Mr. DePrima brought it to my attention right away. I had a conversation, although briefly, with Mr. Erickson before he left. It's on our short list with Mr. Domino. Our next home game, I don't think, is till November the 4th or 2nd, so we'll rectify it before then.
And the other thing is too, people were complaining on Facebook about people cutting. I don't know how many cops we hire to work there, but there were no cops near the ticket lines at all. So that reallocation of assets, maybe a couple of the cops should be sitting over the lines also.
May I, Madam President? Yeah, Mr. Cassidy, I was thinking about that also. I mean, there's enough police officers there that I'm sure asking one of them to move over a few feet would not be an issue, just to keep an eye on line cutters.
Or I would suggest maybe for we have crowd control of our district employees that we can put there, so police officers could tend to other things besides line cutting. I don't think that falls into their realm, but.
Well, what do they do?
What's that?
What do the police do while they're there? Crowd control would be the lines.
We have our own staff there that can make sure no one's cutting in line.
Okay.
Mr. O'Neill?
Thank you. First, I want to congratulate Dan. And I also want to clarify a few quick things from my comments earlier. I'm very pleased with the outcome to GNC, that we do now have 2 rooms that have been scrub clean and that we know are currently perfectly safe for the students. My concern was that the issue was initially reported on September 1st, and it wasn't until it got to the superintendent's desk on September 27th, after it was kicked back and rejected at numerous other levels of administration, that it was handled perfectly appropriately by Mr. Cittadino bringing in the outside company. So my concern is that it shouldn't take so much fighting by the people who are in the classrooms and those of us who represent them in order to get the issue addressed, that there should be a more efficient mechanism in place to get these issues resolved. And my other concern is that there are many other issues that have not been reported or have been reported and disregarded already that perhaps if they had been handled as the issue in the GNC eventually was handled, I don't know what we would be discovering in those other buildings and those other classrooms. So those are my areas of concerns. The outcome of the GNC, as I expressed to Mr. Cittadino today when I saw the final report, was very great. I'm very satisfied with it. But there are still other issues, and I think that perhaps it should be looked at by the Building and Grounds Committee, and there should be a policy put in place to facilitate the reporting and handling of the situations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Anyone else? Are you coming up to speak, madam? Okay. I thought maybe you were making a graceful exit, Susan.
Hi, Teresa Burns from Lawrence Harbor. I just wanted to reiterate what the union rep said. I believe that it would be a good idea for students who have breathing tubes and other breathing difficulties to have a policy in place to make sure that it doesn't take an extended period of time. Thank you.
Just want to clarify that we do have a policy in place. This situation that happened there was due to a mechanical device that failed over the course of the summer, and that's what caused it to happen. I've met with my team and met with my staff to ensure that when things are reported, they make it quicker through the chain of command to make sure that the proper people are in place and notified, and we take the proper methods to ensure that the rooms are safe for all students and staff in the future.
Okay. Do you happen to have that policy or any of the knowledge on then why this took so long? Or?
The policy on our air quality and environmental spaces, it's right in our operations. I don't have it with me, the number with me, but it's in our policy under operations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Mr. Cittadino, I have to say that with all due respect, I agree with Mr. Castley. I don't see any problem with someone having one of the uniformed police presence stand somewhere near an entrance. It is crowd control, and I believe that might help. If nothing else, image is a lot of things. So, I don't know who makes that call, but I happen to, in my opinion, I agree with you, Ed. Okay. At this point, is there any old business from anyone? New business from anyone? Mr. DePrima?
It's not really new business. I'd just like to say a couple of things. Mr. Domino, welcome aboard. Congratulations. As you probably know, I chair the athletics committee, so I'll give you like 2 hours to get situated, and I'll be calling you. Now, I plan on having a meeting probably towards the end of November, so hopefully by then you'll be somewhat, situated in. I just want to also echo what Mr. Cittadino said earlier about this weekend. It was a magical Old Bridge weekend. Starting with Pink Out, there was thousands of people at Lombardi Stadium. Then Saturday and Sunday was the World Fest, which it was just a magical time. I don't know how many people passed through those gates, but being there I was really proud to be a part of this community. And finally, I just want to make a little shout out and say happy birthday to my little buddy. You know who you are.
Anyone else? Ms. Foster?
Thank you. I just want to add a few other things. Something else happening this week at the high school on the 20th, at the same time as Thursday as the college fair, is we're running a glass slipper boutique for homecoming. So for those who don't know, the community has donated dresses, and we started, it's going on for a couple years, but last year we started opening up for homecoming. So there'll be dresses there of no charge. And we kind of wheel them up to the library so the parents can see them also. It's another way that we can talk about it also being available at prom time. So that will be going on. So even if you aren't coming to the college fair, if there's a student in need, swing by the library on that day, that evening, starting at 7. We'll be there in the library. I just want to echo World Fest. I think, there's so many people to thank, but Mrs. Castaigne was there the whole time. I think Mr. Cittadino might have slept in his office. I'm not really sure about that. But it was great to see everyone there. I can't tell you the number of faculty and administration and the PTAs and the families. It was really a great, great weekend. The weather, I don't know how we pulled that one off, but the weather was fabulous. And, you know, for a huge undertaking, which now is the first annual, I think, you know, I know so many people talked about, oh, next year, let's do. So I think it was a great event that everybody came together. So just wanted to thank everybody's effort, and I won a basket, so I was pretty happy about that. I'm pretty happy about that. The other thing, just to piggyback on what Mrs. Callie said about the drug addiction awareness programs, I know what they're also doing in conjunction with the police department is coming to our PTAs. So this last month, I stopped by the Shepherd PTA. That was my home school, so every now and then I like to stop by and catch up. And Lieutenant Greenway was there, and they did a program for the parents, which was really great. And I know they're trying to do more and more of that, actually going to the PTAs. Since the parents are already going out to that event, it's a great way to kind of educate them, especially at the elementary level, which is, you know, is frightful, but we do need to start talking to our children at that age. So it was a great program, and I think a good way to hit parents up who are usually coming out to those programs. So that was great to see, and I know they're doing them throughout the district. So just want to thank on that. And then, you know, the other thing I just wanted to talk about, and Mr. Dunn talked about a little bit, is we do know the plan development that's going to be happening at some point, it sounds like, here in town. And I know there are some schools specifically concerned, especially down Lawrence Harbor, where there's, you know, plans for huge expansion in a highly congested area already, and our schools maxed out. So, you know, Mr. Cededino talked about our strategic planning. We're extremely concerned about that, and how are we going to address that? And I just want to reference one thing that I know was in the Suburban, and Mayor Henry had talked about us losing approximately 700 students a year, which is true. However, forgot to mention, we bring in a whole nother group of students in our kindergartens through that year. So you know, there has been ebbs and flows, just like it does every year on that. So I think it's rightly a concern that we need to, as a group, think about. And that's why we're very anxious to do this strategic planning, so we can really find out how we can be ready to handle that. So again, keep listening for hopefully our updates on that. So busy month and some other just great things going, so.
Ms. Callie?
I just have a couple of things. Not to repeat what everybody else is saying, but I want to congratulate Mr. Domino. Good luck. And to echo what everybody else has said, but bears repeating to Mr. Citadino and Mrs. Castaigne for their tireless efforts putting World Fest together. It really was a great weekend. And I also want to commend the PTAs, because I had the good luck of manning the shooting gallery. I got to load BB rifles, but in any event, that was also where the volunteers signed in. So I was very, very happy to see so many PTA people coming, you know, coming and going, signing in and out to help their, you know, to help their schools and to help the district make this a really great event, and it was. And yeah, as Kelly said with the weather, somebody up there was really shining on Old Bridge between the pink out and winning the game in the last 5 minutes, and the great weather that we had for all events that were going on over the weekend. That was wonderful. Just to touch again on the Municipal Alliance, and you know, over the next few months, you're probably going to get sick of me hearing this, but it's something that I'm very passionate about. Ms. Ellis Foster had mentioned that the police officers and other speakers are available to come to the PTA meetings. So, but they need to be asked. So, you know, that's one thing. Actually, there's a President's Council meeting tomorrow, so I'm going to be mentioning that yet again. Hopefully, President's Council can invite people from MAPSA to come and speak, and every year they have come to speak and offered their services. I know a lot of the people in attendance at President's Council are elementary schools, but it's so important to get these kids at a young age. It's not a middle school problem, it's not a high school problem, and it really affects everybody. And I'm just so tired of reading about young people passing. And I want to commend Scott Cascone for his efforts. He's really done a great job sitting on the Alliance. Sorry, saw you out of the corner of my eye. You're doing a great job with that. And that's it.
Anyone else? Mr. Dino?
Madam?
Oh, thank you. I would just first like to thank all the students who were recognized this evening for their work from Carl Sandburg Middle School with the Habitat for Humanity project. Very impressive, and thank you so much for being a role model for the entire community. Also, congratulations to Mr. Domino on being appointed athletic director. Truly a great fit, well-deserved, and we're really looking forward to all the accomplishments you'll bring to the district. Also, I just have a meeting notice. We have a technology committee meeting scheduled for next Thursday, October 27th at 7 p.m. in the administration conference room. And if you have the time, please come try to make it. We really would like to have as many perspectives represented as possible. We're really going to be looking at numerous projects for the future, so it'll be great to have you there. We truly value your input. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dunn?
Thank you, Madam President. A couple of things real quick. Number one, I had the incredible privilege to spend some time with the Old Bridge Special Education Parent Advisory Group on the 28th. There's an incredible amount of enthusiasm and love for our special needs program, and a real incredible group of ladies and a few guys have got together to discuss the concerns in special education, and it was a very, very productive meeting. I'm proud to be part of that group because we need to look at where we're at special needs wise and determine and come up with some recommendations for Jim Toohey and his team for special education. And the first meeting went off fabulously. Again, everyone who was part of that group has the love in their heart to deal with children with special needs because they have children with special needs. And that's what is so great about this school district, is that we have such a fabulous program. I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but we have 1,200 plus children in this district that are part of the special needs program, and that's a testament to our community and how much we believe in them. And what we want to do is provide a fair and equitable solution to their concerns, and that's just an incredible thing. But I just wanted to give them a shout out, along with SEPTA, of course. Between the two groups, you know, we have the support mechanism in place to help the parents who need the assistance. A lot of parents don't understand what they're entitled to. They don't understand how the process works. When you have a child who is not doing well and there's a diagnosis of autism and they develop an IEP, you know, this is very overwhelming for people. And I just want to say that I'm very proud of our school district and our special needs department, Jim Toohey and his team, and all the wonderful teachers who take the time, and also paras who take the time to make sure that our kids with special needs are given a great chance, and I'm very proud of these groups together. Secondly, I was honored to spend some time last Friday over at Cooper Elementary School. They had their back-to-school barbecue. Cooper Elementary School is a little school that's in Cliffwood Beach, if everyone doesn't know where it is. That's one school that often gets forgotten. But they're great people over there, and I had a great time along with Sal DePrima and also Kelly Ellis Foster. They joined me, and we were with Principal Kathy Gramada over at Cooper, and we interacted with a lot of parents, and we had a fabulous time. So I wanted to bring that out. Also, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and of course, Daniel Domino, congratulations. You know, you have a great athletics department in the last 5 years, 7 years. It has really become really a great system here in Old Bridge. You know, we put a lot of onus on our athletics program over the years, and you're the future. And I want to wish you all the luck in the world. And we need to make sure we beat Manalapan next year, please. Because the coaches on that team actually coached me in high school. So you can see that I have a rivalry going on there with Coach Tetley and a few others, and Billy Smith in Manalapan. But congratulations again, and that's great, and I know you will do fabulous for a school.
Those coaches must be getting ready to retire soon.
Well, yeah, they're in their 60s and 70s, but you know, Joe Tetley is a resident here in Old Bridge, and you know, he is an integral part of their team. So let's hope we can beat them next year. And quickly, the air quality issues, Mr. O'Neill, yes, we will discuss it within Buildings and Grounds. And like we all know and have discussed, the infrastructure of our buildings are wearing, they're old. We need to reinvest, and that's what we're doing with the ESEP program. We need some new facilities here, and strategic planning will put us in the cost to do that. We have to make a lot of decisions in the near future, and facilities-wise, that's top priority, because you know what? We need to give grade A primo space for our children and our staff members so that they could have a very productive educational enrichment, and that's the goal here. So thank you for bringing it to your attention, and I'm sure that Dave and his team will make sure that there's no future issues. And one last thing is that we all know that there's a lot of building going on in this town, and we need to forecast the future. And that's very difficult. We have demographers come in. We're trying to predict what's needed in town. But we all know that the population growth of Old Bridge is in South Old Bridge. And the Woodhaven development, there's going to be 3,000 plus homes there eventually, and there is no school in the general area. So these are the things that the board is commissioned with to determine what course this school district needs to go in. And that's why strategic planning is so critical. And I want to thank Dave and President Andriani for taking it upon themselves to go down to ERIC and see what they could do to convince them to give us the person that we had preferred to do this program with us. You know, hopefully it'll go off with a hitch. We feel that it will, and it'll be the best situation for us so the entire community can share in their beliefs and desires for this wonderful school district. And lastly, just real quick, I just want to thank everyone for a successful school opening last month. I know I didn't have a chance to say that. We didn't have an order of the good, but everything went off without a hitch. I was very proud. Transportation did a great job in East Capasso. Really no complaints concerning bus stops. There was a few things we had to work out, but overall it was a fabulous opening of school. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Ms. Hartman?
Yes. First of all, I would like to congratulate Mrs. Domino. You have an exceptional team in that athletics department, and I am sure that you're going to go further than you are right now with them, and I'm sure that they're all looking forward to working with you from what I understand. So, you know, good luck, and I'm sure you'll do a tremendous job there. Also, I would just like to thank again Carl Sandburg Middle School, the staff, and the children that were involved in putting that wall together. I think it was a tremendous thing that they did, and to wind up helping a family in Newark with their home, okay, tells me that they were sincerely involved in this to get these people what they need to go on with the home that they need. And I'm just so overwhelmed with what they did. I can't thank them enough, and the staff that was also involved with it, for them to do that. It was a tremendous thing for them to do. Also, the World Fest. I had the opportunity of being there on Saturday. It was wonderful. I mean, everybody that I spoke to loved everything that was going on there. Okay, I know that Rosemary, along with Mr. Citadino, you know, sat down and spoke about putting this together a while back. And it was tremendous. The amount of volunteers that were there, the PTA, you know, and I've always said this, I don't know how the school district would survive without the PTAs, because they do so much for each one of the schools that they're involved with in raising money and all different things for the children in each one of their schools, that, you know, we could not survive without them. And I just want to thank them all, because, you know, they go above and beyond to do what it is that they need to do in the classes with these children and with the whole school itself. So I can't thank them enough for that. But the World Fest was a wonderful program, and I am sure next year it's probably going to be added on to what we already had there. But it was just a wonderful affair, and like I said, everyone I spoke to had nothing but positive to say about it, and I want to thank everybody that was involved with it. Also with the Municipal Alliance, Jill, you know, it's something that I will certainly like to get more involved with, because they do a wonderful job in educating parents and educating children on the issues that we have in Old Bridge, as we do in all of the other towns. You know, with the drug problem and stuff like that, there are just too many kids that are getting involved with those different kinds of drugs, and, you know, I just know that they have worked tremendously in helping parents to educate them along with the children. And I would just love to see it go forward more, and I will certainly get involved with it, because it's something that I believe that everybody or anybody, okay, should, if nothing else, to be educated on the things that are going forward as far as our children are concerned, and the adults, okay? And if there's any kind of situations or problems, that they can be addressed. So I will certainly be getting involved with that with you, along with the Municipal Alliance. And other than that, I heard that we had a wonderful opening of the school year, like Rich mentioned. There were no problems, no situations. Our transportation department is wonderful. They do an outstanding job, along with all of the employees that were involved in the opening of the school and going forward. And I'm very proud to be able to be a part of working with them, because we just have a wonderful school district. National School of Character, SAT scores, they are the best that they have been in the history of Old Bridge. That's telling me that the employees that we have in this school district are wonderful employees, and I just want to thank them all for it. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Hopman. All right, just a few things that were alluded to in the course of the evening with strategic planning. Strategic planning is different than long-range planning, and we've had long-range planning committees for well before I wound up on the board. And this is a little different. We all know that many of our buildings are aging out. We have aging infrastructure, we have aging hard facilities. We need to make some decisions on how do we fix them? Where do we expand? Many of them are built in areas where we can expand. Either the roofs are not capable of going up, and the surrounding area is wetlands or not buildable as far as the DEP is concerned. So we need to make some decisions, and we don't want to do them alone. We will be asking for community input. That's why we keep talking about strategic planning. We would have already started that process had we not lost the services of Dr. Ivory. We are looking to have an outside person come in to facilitate these meetings. And we're expecting to, I mean, we will invite, but we're expecting open for community members, police, firemen, teachers, parents, students, everyone to come in, because we need to know what your priorities are as we move forward. We were thinking about doing this and had been planning this, and then we find out about all of the new building. And we have quite a number of people upset and very concerned about the localized, pocketed building and the impact it will have on those areas. Mr. Dunn mentioned Cooper School, that it's a little forgotten school. Well, I can tell you that the parents in that area have not thought of it being forgotten, because they're looking at building. Township has given permits to build 597, I believe, don't quote me on the number, apartment units down in that area. And those parents and those community members are very concerned, not only with the school impact, but the traffic impact and the infrastructure impact. Just getting back and forth to the Parkway, getting back and forth to 34 and to 35. All of this has to be talked about in logical, efficient means, and we need to involve you. We are working diligently to get another facilitator on board so that we can get this process started. It is part of our approved board goals, and we are seriously committed to doing that. So you will be hearing more about that as the year goes on. Moving on to World Fest, Events that large are not successful by magic. The event itself was open for 25 hours, over 3 days. I don't think anybody stopped to think about how many hours of volunteers made themselves available, either through the PTA, through the games, through the administration and board who were in the ticket booth selling tickets. And it was very difficult to put those armbands on the little kids. So I know that for a fact. Just the PTAs, the teachers that were there. Mrs. Keeler was there, World Fest. She is our World and Culture supervisor. There were people doing henna. The French club had crepes. There was somebody doing Tai Chi. It was phenomenal. But again, it doesn't happen by magic. And there were hundreds of hours of pre-planning prior to the opening of that event. We've mentioned Mr. Cittadino, who I think slept in the ticket booth. We mentioned Ms. Cascane on our end, and then Ms. Rivoli from the Cultural Arts Center. And they all need to be congratulated because they not only initiated and followed through with such a great program, but when you look at all the students that were involved, all the teachers that were involved, all of the community members that came out, we keep talking about what a great place Old Bridge is to live. We are Old Bridge proud, and we're a great, strong community, and we need to keep that. So I just wanted to mention that one more time. And with that, I always have the last say, so I think we're done. Correct? And guess what? There's no executive session tonight. So I needed a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Everybody's making, just put everybody's name down. We all made a motion. Do I have a second? Everybody's hands are up. Okay, roll call, Mr. Mara.
Ellis Foster,
Yes.
Tally,
Yes.
Weber, Dunn,
Yes.
Dinoff.
Yes.
Hopman,
Yes.
Prima,
Yes.
Andriani.
Yes.
The meeting's adjourned.
Mr. Dinoff gives out cheap pens. Look, they're broken.
Is that his election pen?
Yeah, it's his election pen.